Alright, I'm back. I'm Shaggy. I am Philaletea. This is Something to Do, parenthetical about nothing, close parenthetical podcast. And I kept telling you that it was probably a good idea for me to do it, and even though it is chronological and won't help you understand Plato at all, I have decided that I am going to read the Book of Enoch to you, because the Book of Enoch is one of my personal favorite books, and sometimes I'm allowed to do something about the feeling like I'm doing nothing, or like nothing is happening, or like nothing is going right for me, by doing things that I just already know I enjoy. And the Book of Enoch is one that I've read many times, I've studied for years, I've listened to lots of people articulate, and one thing that I know I will not be able to do is inside 7 minutes explain why it's important. So rather than try to do that for myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Mr. Robert Bagley, or Bagley, however that's pronounced, the third's introduction to his translation, because I am going to be reading his translation. I bought it. If you like this and you don't want to support me directly, please make sure that you support these translations, these translators, these intellectuals from whom I am borrowing and off whom I am building. And so we're just going to begin, and this is probably going to be more of a straight reading than my usual read and commentary, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to stand up because my chair is also putting my leg to sleep. Why, asks Mr. Robert Bagley III, is the Book of Enoch so important to anyone interested in biblical history? The answer is simple. It's directly quoted in the New Testament by Jude, verses 14 and 15, and themes of the book referenced in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Also, the first 36 chapters have been considered scripture in the Ethiopic Coptic Church, a church who ascribes their founder as the Apostle John, and I found myself talking about one of their books the other day, and I think it's called Cabra Nagast. Anyway, additionally, it was one of the most significant Jewish pseudepigrapha, defined as writings ascribed to some other than the real author. It is believed that the Book of Enoch was taken out of the Jewish canon by the Sanhedrin just after Jesus' death because of the prophecies they thought pointed to Jesus as the Messiah. However, the Oxford Dictionary of the Christian Church states, quote, "This view has been increasingly questioned, especially since the discovery of the Qumran fragments, where Dead Sea Scrolls were found. For, although all the other sections of 1st Enoch are well represented in these fragments, the Messianic chapters, 37 through 71, were not represented at all. Nor are they represented in the Greek and Latin fragments. It is probable, therefore, that they are a later Christian insertion into the book, and that it was the New Testament which influenced them rather than vice versa. There is no question, however, that the chapters outside chapters 37 to 71 are BC in their time origin, as they were part of the fragments in Qumran. For further proof, here are some stark and uncanny Book of Enoch references in the New Testament. 1. Jesus referred to the Book of Enoch. "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth," quoted from Matthew 5:5, pulled from "The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth," Enoch 5:6, also 6:9. 2. "Woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation," Luke 6:24. "Woe to you who are rich, for in your houses have you trusted, but from your riches you shall be removed," Enoch 94:8, also 93:7. 3. "Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel," Matthew 19:28. "I will place each of them on a throne of glory," Enoch 108:12, also 105:26. 4. "Between us and you there is a great gulf fixed," Luke 16:26. "By a chasm are their souls are separated," Enoch 22:9, also 11, and then 22:10, also 12. 5. That ye may be called the children of light," John 12:36. "The good from the generation of light," Enoch 108:11, also 105:25. 6. One direct quote in the New Testament is by Jude, a brother of Jesus Christ. Jude 1:14 and 15, quoting Enoch 1:9. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are godly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. You will love how this series of revelations help to fill in many blanks about Genesis, the description of the wickedness of the world, pre-flood of Noah, how fallen angels corrupted human seed, destiny of angels, future apocalyptic events explained in more detail, and much, much more. There's your introduction, and I like how he ends with a as seen on TV ad there. And we're just inside 6 minutes, so I couldn't have done that in 7 minutes. And so let's just begin. The Book of Enoch, Chapter 1, as translated by Robert Bagley III. 1. I'm not going to read all of the verse numbers. The word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous, who were to exist in the time of trouble, rejecting all the wicked and ungodly. Enoch, a righteous man, who was one with God, answered and spoke, while his eyes were open, and while he saw a holy vision in the heavens. This the angels showed me. From them I heard all things, and understood what I saw, that which will not take place in this generation, but in a generation which is to succeed at a distant period, on account of the elect. 3. Upon their account I spoke and conversed with him who will go forth from his habitation, the Holy and Mighty One, the God of the world, who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his hosts, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven. All shall be afraid, and the watchers be terrified. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, and the exalted hills depressed, melting like a honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall be immerged, and all things which are in it perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon all the righteous. But to them shall he give peace. He shall preserve the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. Then shall all belong to God, be happy and blessed, and the splendor of the Godhead shall illuminate them. Chapter 2. Behold, he comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon them and destroy the wicked, and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and ungodly have done and committed against him. Chapter 3. All who are in the heavens know what is transacted there. They know that the heavenly luminaries change not their paths, that each rises and sets regularly, every one at its proper period, without transgressing the commands which they have received. He's talking about the stars and the other heavenly bodies. They behold the earth and understand understand what is there transacted from the beginning to the end of it. They see that every work of God is invariable in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter, perceiving that the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud, the dew, and that the rain refresh it. Chapter 4. They consider and behold every tree, how it appears to wither, and every leaf to fall off, except of 14 trees, which are not deciduous, which wait from the old to the appearance of the new leaf, for 2 or 3 winters. Chapter 5. Again, they consider the days of summer, that the sun is upon us, or is upon it at its very beginning, while you seek for a covered and shady spot on account of the burning sun, while the earth is scorched up with fervid heat, and you become incapable of walking either upon the ground or upon the rocks in consequence of that heat. Chapter 6. They consider how the trees, when they put forth their green leaves, become covered, and produce fruit, understanding everything, and knowing that he who lives forever does all these things for you, that the works at the beginning of every existing year, that all his works are subservient to him and invariable, yet as God has appointed, so are all things brought to pass. They see, too, how the seas and the rivers together complete their respective operations. But you endure not patiently, nor fulfill the commandments of the Lord, but you transgress and culminate his greatness, and malignant are the words in your polluted mouths against his majesty. Ye withered in heart, no peace shall be to you. Therefore, your days shall you curse, and the years of your lives shall perish. Perpetual execration shall be multiplied, and you shall not obtain mercy. In those days shall you resign your peace with the eternal maledictions of all righteous, and sinners shall perpetually execrate you, with the ungodly. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. But you, ye unholy, shall be accursed. Then shall wisdom be given to the elect, all of whom shall live, and not again transgress by impiety or pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat transgression. They shall not be condemned the whole period of their lives, nor die in torment and indignation. But the sum of their days shall be completed, and they shall grow old in peace, while the years of their happiness shall be multiplied with joy and with peace, forever, the whole duration of their existence. Chapter 7. It happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, Come, let us select for ourselves wives from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Then their leader Semyaza said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and that I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime. But they answered him and said, We all swear, and bind ourselves by mutual execrations, that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together, and all bound themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200, who ascended or descended upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Armon. That mountain, therefore, we called Armon, because they had sworn upon it, and bound themselves by mutual execrations. These are the names of their chiefs: Semyaza, who was their leader, Urak, Abaramiel, Akabiel, Tamael, Ramuel, Donel, Azkael, Saraknial, Asael, Armers, Batraal, Anane, Zavabe, Samsavael, Ertael, Turel, Tomyael, Arazyaal. These were the prefects of the 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Then they took wives, each choosing for himself, whom they began to approach, and with whom they cohabited, teaching them sorcery, incantations, and the dividing of roots and trees. And the women conceiving brought forth giants, whose stature was 300 cubits. These devoured all which the labor of men produced, until it became impossible to feed them, when they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, and began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, and fishes, to eat their flesh one after another, and to drink their blood. Then the earth reproved the unrighteous. Chapter 8. Moreover, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, the fabrication of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of the eyebrows, the use of stones of every valuable and select kind, and of all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. Amazarach taught all the sorcerers and dividers of roots. Armers taught the solution of sorcery. Barkayal taught the observers of the stars. Akabael taught signs. Tamiel taught astronomy, and Azaradel taught the motion of the moon. And men, being destroyed, cried out, and their voice reached to heaven. Chapter 9. Then Michael and Gabriel, Raphael, Suriel, and Uriel looked down from heaven and saw the quantity of blood which was shed on earth, and all the iniquity which was done upon it, and said one to another, It is the voice of their cries. The earth, deprived of her children, has cried even to the gate of heaven. And now to you, O ye holy ones of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, obtain justice for us with the Most High. Then they said to their Lord, the King, Thou art Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings. The throne of thy glory is forever and forever and ever is thy name sanctified and glorified. Thou art blessed and glorified. Thou hast made all things. Thou possessest power over all things, and all things are open and manifest before thee. Thou beholdest all things, and nothing can be concealed from thee. Thou hast seen what Azazel has done, how he has taught every species of iniquity upon earth, and has disclosed to the world all the secret things which are done in the heavens. Semyaza also taught sorcery, to whom thou hast given authority over those who are associated with him. They have gone together to the daughters of men, have lain with them, have become polluted, and have discovered crimes to them. The women likewise have brought forth giants. Thus has the whole earth been filled with blood and with iniquity. And now, behold, the souls of those who are dead cry out and complain even to the gate of heaven. Their groaning ascends, nor can they escape from the unrighteousness which is committed on earth. Thou knowest all things before they exist. Thou knowest these things, and what has been done by them, yet thou dost not speak to us. What, on account of these things, ought we to do to them? Chapter 10. Then the Most High, the Great and Holy One, spoke, and sent, that's a name, Asayalalur, I'm never going to be able to say that, Asayalalur, to the son of Lamech, saying, say to him in my name, conceal thyself. Then explain to him the consummation which is about to take place. For all the earth shall perish. The waters of a deluge shall come over the whole of the earth, and all things which are in it shall be destroyed. And now teach him how he may escape, and how his seed may remain in all the earth. Again the Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel hand and foot, cast him into darkness, and open the desert which is in Dudael, cast him in there. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. There shall he remain forever. Cover his face, that he may not see the light. And in the great day of judgment let him be cast into the fire. Restore the earth, which the angels have corrupted, and announce life to it, that I may revive it. All the sons of men shall not perish in consequence of every secret, by which the watchers have destroyed, and which they have taught their offspring. All the earth has been corrupted by the effects of the teaching of Azazel. To him, therefore, ascribe the whole of the crime. To Gabriel also the Lord said, go to the biters, to the reprobates, to the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, the offspring of the watchers, from among men. Bring them forth, and excite them one against another. Let them perish by mutual slaughter, for length of days shall not be theirs. They shall all entreat thee, but their fathers shall not obtain their wishes respecting them, for they shall hope for eternal life, and that they may live, each of them 500 years. To Michael likewise the Lord said, go and announce his crime to Semyaza, and to the others who are with him, who have been associated with women, that they might be polluted with all their impurity. And when all their sons shall be slain, when they shall see the perdition of their beloved, bind them for 70 generations underneath the earth, even to the day of judgment and of consummation, until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever, be completed. Then shall they be taken away into the lowest depths of the fire in torments, and in confinement shall they be shut up forever. Immediately after this shall he together with them burn and perish. They shall be bound until the consummation of many generations. Destroy all the souls addicted to dalliance, and the offspring of the watchers, for they have tyrannized over mankind. Let every oppressor perish from the face of the earth. Let every evil work be destroyed. Let the plant of righteousness and of rectitude appear, and its produce to become a blessing. Righteousness and rectitude shall be forever planted with delight. And then shall all the saints give thanks, and live until they have begotten 1,000 children, while the whole period of their youth and their Sabbaths shall be completed in peace. In those days all the earth shall be cultivated in righteousness. It shall be wholly planted with trees, and filled with benediction. Every tree of delight shall be planted in it. In it shall vines be planted, and the vine which shall be planted in it shall yield fruit to satiety. Every seed which shall be sown in it shall produce for 1 measure 1,000, and 1 measure of olives shall produce 10 presses of oil. Purify the earth from all oppression, from all injustice, from all crime, from all impiety, and from all the pollution which is committed upon it. Exterminate them from the earth. Then shall all the children of men be righteous, and all nations shall pay me divine honors, and bless me, and all shall adore me. The earth shall be cleansed from all corruption, from every crime, from all punishment, and from all suffering. Neither will I again send a deluge upon it from generation to generation forever. Chapter 11. In those days I will open the treasures of blessing which are in heaven, that I may cause them to descend upon earth, and upon all the works and labors of man. Peace and equity shall associate with the sons of men all the days of the world, and every generation of it. Chapter 12. Before all these things, Enoch was concealed, nor did any one of the sons of men know where he was concealed, where he had been, and what had happened. He was wholly engaged with the holy ones, and with the watchers in his days. I, Enoch, was blessing the great Lord and King of peace. And behold, the watchers called me Enoch, the scribe. Then the Lord said to me, Enoch, scribe of righteousness, go, tell the watchers of heaven, who have deserted the lofty sky, and their holy everlasting station, who have been polluted with women, and have done as the sons of men do, by taking to themselves wives, and who have been greatly corrupted on the earth. That on the earth they shall never obtain peace and remission of sin, for they shall not rejoice in their offspring. They shall behold the slaughter of their beloved, shall lament for the destruction of their sons, and shall petition forever, but shall not obtain mercy and peace. Chapter 13. Then Enoch, passing on, said to Azazel, Thou shalt not obtain peace. A great sentence is gone forth against thee. He shall bind thee. Neither shall relief, mercy, and supplication be thine, on account of the oppression which thou hast taught, and on account of every act of blasphemy, tyranny, and sin which thou hast discovered to the children of men. Then, departing from him, I spoke to them all together, and they all became terrified and trembled, beseeching me to write for them a memorial of supplication, that they might obtain forgiveness, and that I might make the memorial of their prayer ascend up before the God of heaven, because they could not themselves thenceforwards address him, nor raise their eyes to heaven on account of the disgraceful offense for which they were judged. Then I wrote a memorial of their prayer and supplication for their spirits, for everything which they had done, and for the subject of their entreaty, that they might obtain remission and rest. Proceeding on, I continued over the waters of Dan Badan, which is on the right to the west of Armon, reading the memorial of their prayer until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions appeared above me. I fell down and saw a vision of punishment, that I might relate it to the sons of heaven, and reproved them. When I awoke, I went to them. All being collected together stood weeping, and that's an interesting word. Ubel Sayayel, which is situated between Libanos and Sinacer, with their faces veiled. I related in their presence all the visions which I had seen and my dream, and began to utter these words of righteousness, reproving the watchers of heaven. Chapter 14. This is the book of the words of righteousness and of the reproof of the watchers, who belong to the world, according to that which he who is holy and great commanded in the vision. I perceived in my dream that I was now speaking with a tongue of flesh, and with my breath, which the Mighty One has put into the mouth of men, that they might converse with it, and understand with the heart, as he has created and given to men the power of comprehending the word of understanding, so he has created and given to me the power of reproving the watchers, the offspring of heaven. I have written your petition, and in my vision it has been shown to me that what you request will not be granted you as long as the world endures. Judgment has been passed upon you. Your request will not be granted you. From this time forward, never shall you ascend into heaven. He has said that on the earth he will bind you as long as the world endures. But before these things you shall behold the destruction of your beloved sons. You shall not possess them, but they shall fall before you. But they shall fall before you by the sword. Neither shall you entreat for them, nor for yourselves, but you shall weep and supplicate in silence. The words of the book which I wrote. A vision thus appeared to me. Behold, in that vision clouds and a mist invited me. Agitated stars and flashes of lightning impelled and pressed me forwards, while winds in the vision assisted my flight, accelerating my progress. They elevated me aloft to heaven. I proceeded until I arrived at a wall built with stones of crystal. A vibrating flame surrounded it, which began to strike me with terror. Into this vibrating flame I entered, and drew nigh to a spacious habitation, built also with stones of crystal. Its walls, too, as well as pavement, were formed with stones of crystal, and crystal likewise was the ground. Its roof had the appearance of agitated stars and flashes of lightning, and among them were cherubim of fire in a stormy sky. A flame burned around its walls, and its portal blazed with fire. When I entered into this dwelling, it was hot as fire and cold as ice. No trace of delight or of life was there. Terror overwhelmed me, and a fearful shaking seized me. Violently agitated and trembling, I fell upon my face. In the vision I looked, and behold, there was another habitation more spacious than the former, every entrance to which was open before me, erected in the midst of a vibrating flame. So greatly did it excel in all points, in glory, in magnificence, and in magnitude, that it is impossible to describe to you either the splendor or the extent of it. Its floor was on fire, above were lightnings and agitated stars, while its roof exhibited a blazing fire. Attentively I surveyed it, and saw that it contained an exalted throne, the appearance of which was like that of frost, while its circumference resembled the orb of the brilliant sun, and there was the voice of the cherubim. From underneath this mighty throne, rivers of flaming fire issued. To look upon it was impossible. One great in glory sat upon it, whose robe was brighter than the sun and whiter than snow. No angel was capable of penetrating to view the face of him, the glorious and the effulgent, nor could any mortal behold him. A fire was flaming around him. A fire also of great extent continued to rise up before him, so that not one of those who surrounded him was capable of approaching him among the myriads of myriads who were before him. To him, holy consultation was needless, yet did not the sanctified, who were near him, depart far from him, either by night or by day, nor were they removed from him. I also was so far advanced, with a veil on my face and trembling. Then the Lord with his own mouth called me, saying, Approach hither, Enoch, at my holy word. And he raised me up, making me draw near even to the entrance. My eye was directed to the ground. Chapter 15. Then, addressing me, he spake and said, Hear, neither be afraid, O righteous Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness. Approach hither, and hear my voice. Go, say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to pray for them, you ought to pray for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have you forsaken the lofty and holy heaven, which endures forever, and have lain with women, have defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, have taken to yourselves wives? I have acted like the sons of the earth, and have begotten an impious offspring. You, being spiritual, holy, and possessing a life which is eternal, have polluted yourselves with women, have begotten in carnal blood, have lusted in the blood of men, and have done as those who are flesh and blood do. These, however, die and perish. Therefore have I given to them wives, that they might cohabit with them, that sons might be born of them, and that this might be transacted upon earth. But you, from the beginning, were made spiritual, possessing a life which is eternal, and not subject to death forever. Therefore I made not wives for you, because, being spiritual, your dwelling is in heaven. Now, the giants who have been born of spirit and of flesh shall be called upon earth evil spirits, and on earth shall be their habitation. Evil spirits shall proceed from their flesh, because they were created from above. From the holy watchers was their beginning and primary foundation. Evil spirits shall they be upon earth, and the spirits of the wicked shall they be called. The habitation of the spirits of heaven shall be in heaven, but upon earth shall be the habitation of terrestrial spirits, who are born on earth. The spirits of the giants shall be like clouds, which shall oppress, corrupt, fall, contend, and bruise upon earth. They shall cause lamentation. No food shall they eat, and they shall be thirsty. They shall be concealed, and shall not rise up among the sons of men, and against women. For they come forth during the days of slaughter and destruction. Chapter 16. And as to the death of the giants, wheresoever their spirits depart from their bodies, let their flesh, that which is perishable, be without judgment. Thus shall they perish until the day of the great consummation of the great world. A destruction shall take place of the watchers and the impious. And now to the watchers, who have sent thee to pray for them, who in the beginning were in heaven, say, in heaven have you been. Secret things, however, have not been manifested to you. Yet have you known a reprobated mystery. And this you have related to women in the hardness of your heart, and by that mystery have women and mankind multiplied evils upon the earth. Say to them, never, therefore, shall you obtain peace. Chapter 17. They raised me up into a certain place, where there was the appearance of a burning fire, and when they pleased, they assumed the likeness of men. They carried me to a lofty spot, to a mountain, the top of which reached to heaven. And I beheld the receptacles of light and of thunder at the extremities of the place where it was deepest. There was a bow of fire, and arrows in their quiver, a sword of fire, and every species of lightning. Then they elevated me to a babbling stream, into a fire in the west, which received all the setting of the sun. I came to a river of fire, which flowed like water, and emptied itself into the great sea westwards. I saw every large river until I arrived at the great darkness. I went to where all of flesh migrate, and I beheld the mountains of the gloom which constitutes winter, and the place from which issues the water in every abyss. I saw also the mouths of all the rivers in the world, and the mouths of the deep. Chapter 18. I then surveyed the receptacles of all the winds, perceiving that they contributed to adorn the whole creation and to preserve the foundation of the earth. I surveyed the stone which supports the corners of the earth. I also beheld the four winds which bear up the earth and the firmament of heaven. And I beheld the winds occupying the exalted sky, arising in the midst of heaven and of earth, and constituting the pillars of heaven. I saw the winds which turn the sky, which cause the orb of the sun and of all the stars to set, and over the earth I saw the winds which support the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I perceived at the extremity of the earth the firmament of heaven above it. Then I passed on towards the south, where burnt both by day and night 6 mountains, formed of glorious stones, 3 towards the east, and 3 towards the south. Those which were towards the east were of a variegated stone, one of which was of margarite, and another of antimony. Those towards the south were of a red stone. The middle one reached to heaven like the throne of God, a throne composed of alabaster, the top of which was of sapphire. I saw too a blazing fire hanging over all the mountains. And there I saw a place on the other side of an extended territory where waters were collected. I likewise beheld terrestrial fountains deep in the fiery columns of heaven. And in the columns of heaven I beheld fires, which descended without number, but neither on high nor into the deep. Over these fountains also I perceived a place which had neither the firmament of heaven above it, nor the solid ground underneath it. Neither was there water above it, nor anything on wing, but the spot was desolate. And there I beheld 7 stars, like great blazing mountains, and like spirits entreating me. Then the angel said, "This place, until the consummation of heaven and earth, will be the prison of the stars and the host of heaven." This is the afterlife. The host of heaven. The host is... the ghosts of the dead. Continuing with 16. The stars which roll over fire are those which transgressed the commandment of God before their time arrived, for they came not in their proper season. Therefore was he offended with them, and bound them until the period of the consummation of their crimes in the secret year. I assume these are 7 comets. Maybe comets even that landed. He might be talking throughout these chapters about devastating comets, or about meteorites that are being worshipped like the Dome of the Rock. Chapter 19. Then Uriel said, "Hear, the angels who cohabited with women appointed their leaders, and being numerous in appearance made men profane, and caused them to err, so that they sacrificed to devils as to gods. For in the great day there shall be a judgment, with which they shall be judged, until they are consumed, and their wives also shall be judged, who led astray the angels of heaven, that they might salute them. And I, Enoch, I alone saw the likeness of the end of all things, nor did any human being see it, as I saw it." Chapter 20. These are the names of the angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels who presides over clamor and terror. Raphael, one of the holy angels who presides over the spirits of men. Raguel, one of the holy angels who inflicts punishment on the world and the luminaries. Michael, one of the holy angels who, presiding over human virtue, commands the nations. Sorachiel, one of the holy angels who presides over the spirits of the children of men that transgress. Gabriel, one of the holy angels who presides over Ikasat, over paradise, and over the cherubim. Chapter 21. Then I made a circuit to a place in which nothing was completed. And there I beheld neither the tremendous workmanship of an exalted heaven nor of an exalted earth, but a desolate spot, prepared and terrific. This is probably the future. There, too, I beheld 7 stars of heaven bound in it together, like great mountains, and like a blazing fire. I exclaimed, "For what species of crime have they been bound, and why have they been removed to this place?" Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me and who conducted me, answered, "Enoch, wherefore dost thou ask?" Wherefore means why. "Wherefore reason with thyself, and anxiously inquire. These are those of the stars which have transgressed the commandment of the Most High God and are here bound, until the infinite number of the days of their crimes be completed. From thence I afterwards passed on to another terrific place, where I beheld the operation of a great fire blazing and glittering, in the midst of which there was a division. Columns of fire struggled together to the end of the abyss, and deep was their descent. But neither its measurement nor magnitude was I able to discover, neither could I perceive its origin. Then I exclaimed, "How terrible is this place, and how difficult to explore!" Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, "Enoch, why art thou alarmed and amazed at this terrific place, at the sight of this place of suffering? This," he said, "is the prison of the angels, and here they are kept forever." Chapter 22. From thence I proceeded to another spot, from where I saw on the west a great and lofty mountain, a strong rock, and 4 delightful places. Internally it was deep, capacious, and very smooth as if it had been rolled over. It was both deep and dark to behold. Then Raphael, one of the holy angels who were with me, answered and said, "These are the delightful places where the spirits, the souls of the dead, will be collected. For them were they formed, and here will be collected all the souls of the men, the souls of the sons of men. These places in which they dwell shall they occupy until the day of judgment and until their appointed period. Their appointed period will be long, even until the great judgment. And I saw the spirits of the sons of men who were dead, and their voices reached to heaven while they were accusing. Then I inquired of Raphael, an angel who was with me, and said, "Whose spirit is that, the voice of which reaches to heaven and accuses?" He answered, saying, "This is the spirit of Abel, who was slain by Cain his brother, and who will accuse that brother until his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth." Sorry, sometimes prophecy bubbles up in me as burps. You probably know that if you've watched me do this for a while, but we're continuing on. I'm not doing as much commentary with this as others. At that time, therefore, I inquired respecting him and respecting the general judgment, saying, "Why is one separated from another?" He answered, 3 separations have been made between the spirits of the dead, and thus have the spirits of the righteous been separated, namely by a chasm, by water, and by light above it. And in the same way likewise are sinners separated when they die, and are buried in the earth, judgment not overtaking them in their lifetime. Here their souls are separated. Moreover, abundant is their suffering until the time of the great judgment, the castigation, and the torment of those who eternally execrate, whose souls are punished and bound there forever. And thus has it been from the beginning of the world. Thus has there existed a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints and of those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. A receptacle of this sort has been formed for the souls of righteous men and of sinners, of those who have completed crime and associated with the impious, whom they resemble. Their souls shall not be annihilated in the day of judgment, neither shall they arise from this place. Then I blessed God, and said, Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of glory and of righteousness, who reigns over all forever and ever. Chapter 23. From thence I went to another place towards the west unto the extremities of the earth, where I beheld a fire blazing and running along without cessation, which intermitted its course neither by day nor by night, but continued always the same. Interesting that in his vision, North America is shielded from him by a wall of fire. Walls of fire are in Jewish mysticism, for example, in Sefer Yetzirah, which may or may not be contemporary with this, but not reading this, the sword of fire that separates Adam and Eve from paradise, and obviously later humans from paradise, is a fifth dimensional fire, and so it's an impenetrable wall of fire from our human third dimensional perspectives. And so it's interesting to me that as he ascended and tried to go as far as God would let him see in his prophetic vision, God wouldn't let him see North America. Enoch says, I inquired, saying, What is this which never ceases? There Raguel, one of the holy angels who were with me, answered and said, This blazing fire which thou beholdest running towards the west is that of all the luminaries of heaven. Literally meaning, God knows what. Chapter 24. I went from thence to another place and saw a mountain of fire flashing both by day and night. I proceeded towards it, and perceived 7 splendid mountains, which were all different from each other. Part of why I'm not telling you what these mountains and what these stars and what these things, these places mean, is I don't actually know. I've read this book maybe 10 times. I don't actually know what he's talking about. I'm still trying to learn. That's why I'm reading it again. Their stones were brilliant and beautiful. All were brilliant and splendid to behold, and beautiful was their surface. 3 mountains were towards the east and strengthened by being placed one upon another, and 3 were towards the south, strengthened in a similar manner. And so it's important that you understand that these aren't real mountains. These are they're like pyramids stacked on top of one another. Like the Triforce, it's like a 3-dimensional version of the Triforce from Zelda that he's describing. There were likewise deep valleys, which did not approach one another, and the 7th mountain was in the midst of them. In length they all resembled the seat of a throne, and odoriferous trees surrounded them. Among these there was a tree of an unceasing smell, nor of those which were in Eden was there one of all the fragrant trees which smelt like this. Its leaf, its flower, and its bark never withered, and its fruit was beautiful. Its fruit resembled the cluster of the palm. I exclaimed, Behold, this tree is goodly in aspect, pleasing in its leaf, and the sight of its fruit is delightful to my eye. Then Michael, one of the holy and glorious angels who were with me, and one who presided over them, answered, and said, Enoch, why dost thou inquire respecting the odor of this tree? Why art thou inquisitive to know it? Then I, Enoch, replied to him and said, Concerning everything I am desirous of instruction, but particularly concerning this tree. He answered me, saying, That mountain which thou beholdest... I just want to stop here for a minute. And is that Raguel? I don't remember who's talking. Give me a second. Michael is like, he's the angel of human judgment, okay? And so on some level, he's the audience insert character. And Enoch looks at these stacked mountains and this valley that looks like a throne, and what he wants to know is what I want to know. Why does this tree smell Why does it have a particular smell? Why in this visionary state am I suddenly having an intense olfactory hallucination? That's what I would want to know in this visionary state. I'm in an out-of-body experience. Why am I suddenly having an intense, irreplicable, indescribable olfactory situation? And Michael looks at him and goes, why is that what you want to know? And then he goes, I want to know all of it, but I particularly want to know the smell. And this is how Michael answers. Pay attention to the order in which Michael answers. Michael answered me, saying, that mountain which thou beholdest, the extent of whose head resembles the seat of the Lord, will be the seat on which sit the holy and great Lord of glory, the everlasting King, when he shall come and descend to visit the earth with goodness. And that tree of an agreeable smell, not one of carnal odor, there shall be no power to touch until the period of the great judgment, when all shall be punished and consumed forever. This shall be bestowed on the righteous and humble. The fruit of this tree shall be given to the elect. For towards the north life shall be planted in the holy place, towards the habitation of the everlasting King. And so what he's saying is this tree will be used to anoint the elect, and it will be the food that they eat that gives them some sort of magical sustenance. Effectively, it's like sensu beans and sensu oil. Then shall they greatly rejoice and exult in the Holy One. The sweet odor shall enter into their bones, and they shall live a long life on the earth, as thy forefathers have lived. Neither in their days shall sorrow, distress, trouble, and punishment afflict them. And I blessed the Lord of glory, the everlasting King, because he has prepared this tree for the saints, formed it, and declared that he would give it to them. Chapter 25. From thence I proceeded to the middle of the earth, and beheld a happy and fertile spot, which contained branches continually sprouting from the trees which were planted in it. There I saw a holy mountain, and underneath it water on the eastern side, which flowed towards the south. I saw also on the east another mountain as high as that, and between them there were deep, but not wide, valleys. Water ran towards the mountain to the west of this, and underneath there was likewise another mountain. There was a valley, but not a wide one, below it, and in the midst of them were other deep and dry valleys towards the extremity of the three. All these valleys, which were deep but not wide, consisted of a strong rock, with a tree which was planted in them. And I wondered at the rock and at the valleys, being extremely surprised. And that's where I'm going to stop for this reading. I don't exactly know how much of the Book of Enoch is left, but we're at about an hour. I'm going to have to combine this with the previous reading, and the wind is pretty intense, and my battery is going to die soon. So, thank you very much. If you liked this and you haven't subscribed, please give it that like, and if you have given it that like and you have subscribed, please consider checking out my Patreon. There is a lot of material available there for you to tell me that you appreciate what I'm doing intellectually, even if you never consume it. For example, my Not Robert Longshore fictional, maybe, work is available for $25 into perpetuity for now. If that ever gets published, it will not be $25 on the Patreon for all of it forever. As an example. I'm not trying to boss you anywhere. Have a fucking good day, alright? Have a good day. God ordains whether you're going to or not, so it's your choice.